There are some shops, the one-stop shop. You go there, everything. The bigger problem is that some children are the weapon fashioned against their parents. Because these same things were bought last term. And while the mom is going through the list and buying that bag, she's like, but I thought I bought this thing for you last term. Mommy. She will grumble and complain, but she will still buy it. Unfortunately, even as she's buying it, Junior is planning how to misplace it. So I understand the feeling. Because honestly, I was this child as well. My parents hear them from my hand. I wasn't misplacing everything, but I have to admit, there were some things my parents did not need to buy more than once. That's why parents are trying, they're trying to see how they can. If you have older kids, they want to try to see if your younger kids can use their books. Just how can we make this thing work? But the kids don't understand. Unfortunately, it seems kids only understand when they become adults. That's when they get the sacrifice. So for schools that are making it easier for parents, you have payment and installment plans. You have ways that you try to make it flexible for them. Thank you very much. And parents, please be considerate. Pay those tuitions. The school owners have staff to pay. They also have families like you do. Let's all meet ourselves somewhere to ensure that our children get the very best. Well, moving from that to, politics, which seems to be, like I like to say, the bread and butter of River State. The Tony Okocha-led faction of the All Progressives Congress in River State has expressed concern over what it described as unending sponsored protest in the state. Okocha in a statement said despite efforts to restore peace and stability in River State, suspended Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his allies have allegedly continued to sponsor protests against the sole administrator, retired Vice Admiral Ibokata Ibas. He said the protests are a deliberate attempt to destabilize the state and undermine the authority of the administrator. He said the height of what he described as continued daily unrest and disruption of public peace is the disruption of an empowerment support program for women in River State organized by the wife of the president, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, under the auspices of the Renewed Hope Initiative last week, Wednesday. Mr. Okocha said the situation has raised concern about the safety of the daily lives of Rivers people and those doing business in the state. Of course, he condemned it and alleged that the suspended governor of River State sponsored those protests. And sharing his sentiment is the FCT minister, who on Saturday in a statement by his media aide, Lere Olayinka, condemned the walkout on the rep of the First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, by a group of women loyal to the suspended governor of River State. He described it as an embarrassment to the people of the state. He apologized to the First Lady and the President, saying insulting anyone representing the First Lady of Nigeria in an event is a direct insult to the office of the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. So in other words, the FCT minister is saying that the suspended governor insulted the President. And he described the incident as disturbing and embarrassing, asking Governor Fubara to be bold enough to tell President Tinubu what exactly he wanted, rather than saying something today and doing another thing tomorrow. So Tony Okocha and the FCT minister basically heading in the same direction through a different choice of words. They're stating that Fubara sponsored protests, Fubara insulted the president, he insulted the First Lady of the country, and he's not. Hold on. Okay. He should say exactly what he wants and not do one thing today and another tomorrow. But organizers of the Renewed Hope Empowerment Program have described as unjust the attempt to drag the name of the suspended governor of River State, Siminalayi Fubara, into the walkout stage by some Rivers women. In a statement by the River State coordinator of Renewed Hope Initiative, Tonye Oniide, he said the claims by the spokesperson of the FCT minister, Lere Olayinka, are deeply misleading and appear to be a calculated attempt to politicize a well-meaning, non-partisan event. The statement described Governor Fubara as a strong supporter of the Renewed Hope Initiative and that despite being on vacation, the governor ensured full support, logistical and otherwise, for the success of the program. So, which one do we believe now? Are we blaming the suspended governor or not? Tony Okocha says he sponsored protests. Wike said he's not staying one place. What he has done constitutes an insult to the president and the first lady. But those who organized the program said, no, the governor is not responsible for this. Meanwhile, the governor in question was on vacation. Or had he returned at the time? So these are interesting times. But I think that all of these positions are a way to pay attention to the wrong things. Regardless of the nature of that protest, whether it was sponsored or not, do the protesters have a valid message? And whether or not you agree with their message, is this something that people can look into? This feels like children complaining to their father about neglect. Daddy, you don't give us food, you don't pay our school fees, you don't do this. And the first thing the father says is, I think it's your mother that sent you. This woman again. Are the kids onto something? Do they make a solid point? Forget who sent them. Right? We don't know if the governor sponsored the protest or not. But the people protesting, are they saying something that we should listen to? These are questions that must be answered. Coming up next, we'll be talking about Nigerians condemning the arrest of controversial social commentator VDM. But between now and then, I can and should talk to you. 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. WhatsApp is 080-903-06416. I believe that we are live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Nigeria Info PH. So you can watch, listen, and engage. If and when you call, please turn off your radio as you call. It's very important. A message on WhatsApp reads, may the good Lord bless and replenish every parent as school resumes. Tony Okocha should leave the governor of Rivers State, Sim Fubara, alone. The governor is innocent. He did not have a hand co-signing the protest in Rivers State. Tony Okocha should leave our governor alone. God Day Teme says. Okay, thank you, God Day. And still on WhatsApp, I'm hoping there are no problems with the phone line. So Juanita Clinton West says, good day, Mr. Sam Oracle. The remarks made by Mr. Tony Okocha is nothing to write home about and does not speak well, because peaceful protest is a right of every Nigerian. The people of River State should not take FCT Minister and Mr. Okocha seriously. Let Tony Okocha face his NDDC job and attract tangible projects to the states. That's from Juanita Clinton West. Okay. I'll need a minute just to confirm a few things. Stay with us. (306-416). So send WhatsApp messages to that number, and shortly the phone lines will go through. Clinton says, okay, Clinton, I see your message. Thank you very much. And this message reads, good afternoon, Mr. Jude. What if I say someone sponsored you to call me Mr. Jude? My name is not Jude, right? Normally I would react like that, but I'll just let it slide. Melody from Uniport says, whether sponsored or not, you cannot be first lady through the back door. Our women are old enough to know whose wife they voted for. It is within their right to reject an unknown first lady. Well, I can't speak for the wife of the administrator. I doubt that that's what she was going for. But I've said this many times, and through the course of the show today, I will also have moments where it will be repeated. The situation now in Rivers State is confusing, and I say that with the best of intentions. This is regardless of who you support. Because my fear, the real fear that I have, is that tomorrow, somebody will use the Rivers State situation to validate something in the future. That's usually the problem. The fact that it becomes a reference point, the precedents. So that's why I want the Rivers situation to be sorted out properly. So that if anyone is quoting it, they will be well within their rights to do so. It will not be nice. That something happens tomorrow and they say, oh, well, it happened in Rivers. And everybody say, leave that Rivers alone. We don't want to get there. Comrade Nwibapo Golden says Chief Tony Okocha isn't the APC chairman of River State, just politics playing out, and there's a time for everything on earth. Well, I'm sure Tony Okocha would beg to differ on that note. There are court cases left, right, and center. And now it's a question of which one you want to believe. Tochi Okere says, is Tony Okocha someone to be taken seriously? Tochi, your last statement there, I'm sure there are better ways to express your displeasure. Wike seems to be acting the proverbial accuser of the brethren against Governor Sim Fubara. Can he not see the tide has changed against him? Good afternoon, Sam. I'm Willex. The antelope said he's not angry at the hunter that shot him dead, but the person that spotted him at his hiding place and called the hunter that shot him. Governor Fubara should know that it is actually his so-called organic supporters that caused his suspension from office. They've started again with all sorts of protests in the state and walkout. All of this will not cut short the suspension, but can cause an extension of the emergency rule if they do not watch their actions. That's from Willex. Okay. And the next comment reads, there was peace and tranquility on our streets, and you could hear a pin drop during the morning hours when our kids returned to school. You needed to see the joy so many parents had while they all sent their children to school. I pray for the safety of all kids and a resounding promotional result to all of them. Sam, I lost my pencil every day, and trust me, I could see the pain in my mom's face each time I told her I needed a new pencil or biro. April, God bless your mom. And I hope that God blesses you too so you can reward her. Hopefully she's still with us. I cannot even explain the things that I lost in school. But God bless my parents as well. I need to speak pidgin. They really hear them. Good afternoon, Sam. Unfortunately, political propaganda has taken center stage, putting the realities of life aside. It is absurd the manner at which the FCT minister lives in propaganda, all in the name of stopping the president in his consideration of lifting the suspension of Governor Fubara. The president should have known the antics of Minister Wike by now. Kelvin Iyobu Frank in Port Harcourt. Like I said earlier, please, you can send your messages to WhatsApp for now as we sort out the phone lines, or you can send it to Facebook at Nigeria Info PH. That's facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH. We're live on that platform, so drop your messages there as well. We're live on Twitter and YouTube. Kenule Julius says Tony Okocha should not be taken seriously. His job is to call black white, and that's what he's doing well. Okay. But why River State? Have there been state of emergency in Plateau State with all the killings? It is now very clear that a state of emergency in River State is just political to suit one man. Everyone cannot be shut up by the government and superhero politicians. Bernard from Port Harcourt says. The next comment reads, good afternoon. I'm Daniel texting from Delta State, Warri precisely. Wike is a problem of River State, let's be honest. Okay, I'll take the next headline. Scores of youths have taken to the streets of Abuja in protest of the arrest of a social media influencer, Martin Vincent Osei, also known as Very Dark Man, by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. The protesters, who were sighted in the Wuse area just right after the Berger Bridge, described VDM's arrest and detention as illegal. They also vowed to take their grievance to the Nigerian Human Rights Commission in the Maitama district of the nation's capital. Meanwhile, the EFCC, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, confirmed that the social media user Very Dark Man is in their custody and was arrested in Abuja. Spokesperson of the EFCC, Dele Oyewale, in an interview with BBC Pidgin, said he was arrested based on petitions by some complainants with grievances against him. When the EFCC spokesperson was asked if the petitions are related to GT Bank, Oyewale said the petitions are from different people and it is the agency's duty to protect the petitioners. He said Very Dark Man will be released when he meets his bail conditions. Prominent Nigerians from the entertainment and political scene have condemned the arrest. I know Peter Obi said a thing or two. And well, this is, I don't know if I should say the biggest story in the country right now, but it's causing a lot of things. And while this is in the hands of the authorities, you want to be careful. I think that the authorities need to be careful how they handle what they consider cases in their jurisdiction. Because some Nigerians do not exactly have a problem with the arrest of the social media influencer. Some are not satisfied with the way he was arrested. Some said it was abduction style. And now Nigerians don't need a reason to protest. Every month it seems that people take to the streets to protest something. So the EFCC, the police, and every organ of government needs to be very careful how they dispense and discharge their duties. Like I said, it's not about who they arrested. Of course, that's my opinion. If he requires an invitation by the EFCC, if he needs to be arrested, by all means, he's a Nigerian, he can be arrested. But you want to be very careful how you do it. So the EFCC should find a way to make this right, so it doesn't spill over into something that goes out of control. The wife of the sole administrator is alien to Rivers people. My wife, as a simplified Rivers woman. Okay, I'm trying to understand your comment. Jeff Steven, come on. There are better ways to express this point. As adults, I don't think we should be teaching people how to show displeasure. Unfortunately, Tony Okocha is just playing to the gallery of his paymaster. If protests are the only means to seek for justice, let it go. Because the state of emergency declared in Rivers is handled in a bad light by the president and it has stalled governance in the state. Kelly says. The next comment reads, good afternoon, Sam. Are these people telling us that Nigerians cannot speak their minds again? Is the FCT minister telling us that all the protests in his favor in the past are all sponsored? Why is it always tagging protests as sponsored? I guess that this is what he does, and that had led him to believe that there is no genuine protest without sponsors. Wike and his cohorts have done Rivers more harm than good, and he is hell-bent on destroying it. He should think of the future of his children in all that he's doing. River State might not be comfortable enough, to contain anyone if he destroys it. Clinton Erekere says, as a new school term begins today, we celebrate parents' continuous commitment to their children's growth and education. Parents, your support at home is the foundation of their success in school. On the sponsored protest, according to Chief Tony Okocha, the only APC chairman, I will agree with him, given the speed and coordination of the protest. Organizing protests requires logistics and planning. Who is bankrolling them? Questions begging to be answered. As for the walkout, I keep saying that it was an embarrassment, no matter who was sent to represent the First Lady. Respect should be accorded. Okay, let's see if we have comments on Facebook. Yes, we do. Hi, Kingsley says, Tony Okocha sponsored the pipeline vandalism and arrest that led to River State emergency rule. Hi, do you have evidence of this? because I would like to hear how you can back this up with evidence. And Golden Eric simply says, free VDM. Well, the SEC says that if his bail conditions can be met, he will be freed. So let's watch, wait, and see what comes out of this. Give me a minute, I'll be right back.
You spend a lot of